All right, we're profiling Mac Jones for the upcoming 2021 NFL Draft, and who better to do it is the other Mac, the Herf, Mac Hereford, former Alabama receiver. Mac Hereford breaking things down. You and Mac Jones, good friends. You guys kind of rose up the ranks together. Kind of just seeing where he was and how he emerged and everything that sort of transpired to get him to where he was. Obviously, you go through the timeline, and especially last year during 2019 when he had to kind of step in for Tua, who was injured, broke the hip, was unable to play. We saw him do some really good things, but then obviously this 2020 year has just been something special, and really it's kind of been his calling card for the NFL. Just your overall thoughts on Mac Jones. I know you got a lot, so I'm just going to let you go.
Yeah.
Ready, go.
Mac Jones, the Joker. I don't even know where to start, but I guess, I think like one of the things I talked about with somebody, and maybe it was with you earlier on this year or whenever, but was the fact that there was a kind of a play that like epitomized his career in like a kind of sense. But it was that game, my senior year, where we're in the bowl game and he's, obviously having to step in and step up, and he gets out there and like gets drilled, and he hits the ground really hard, and like I'm sitting next to Pierce Quick, and I'm like, dude, like holy cow, like please don't be anything wrong with him. And he gets back up, rips the patch off, But I love to go back to that story and just talk about the thing I said when that happened was like, dude, he's a man of the people. He's a warrior. I got fired up. I was like, Mac Jones, like amazing. Started off when we were having, he came in early and we're in the, Malmore, 10 p.m. on a Saturday night, throwing footballs, and we go to Krispy Kreme after or something. And not to eat donuts for ourselves, Mac Jones decides that we should open up the box and drive around the strip and offer up donuts to people around the strip. So I remember him like giving a free donut to like some random Alabama student. And like, I was like, it all comes together now. Like he's this the man of the people. He's a guy, like everybody loves Mac Jones. And it's just been awesome to see him progress over the years. I've thought, in my sense of the narrative, people have said, he's kind of grown up or whatever, changed all this much. I like to say that just Mac Jones is Mac Jones all the way through, and that, a couple of key things that he developed, but really who he is a hard worker. He's like works harder than probably any other college football player I've met. He spends more time in the facility than any other guy, like criticizing his plays, looking over film, and you see that in times where the beginning of the year they're doing the interview about Missouri, and he names the whole entire defense and the backups and the guys who are like change jersey numbers. Like who does that? who knows that? And so it just says a lot about him.
Okay, so he becomes the all-time passing leader, right? 4,500 yards, senior season 2020. When you think about how he kind of had to sit back and, really wait his turn, and his turn, I mean, if you asked most people 2, 3, 4 years ago that he'd ever get his turn, a lot of people would have looked at you like you're crazy. But he got his turn and he took full advantage of it. What were your thoughts just when you came into Alabama and you got to work with him and spend a lot of those hours practicing with him? I mean, did you ever think that he was going to be up for the Heisman Trophy and now obviously a first round draft pick?
Yeah, I would say, people might not believe me, but I truly would say I thought he was going to make it since the beginning. And it was funny because one of my friends asked me the other day, he's like, he's like, dude, were you being serious? He's like, I still can't believe it. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you used to tell us every day that Mac Jones was gonna be it, like the guy. And I was like, I told you, like he's the guy now, and everyone's shocked. And before the season, I was like, look, I told some of my buddies, like everyone throw down Mac Jones Heisman. I texted it too at the beginning of the year, like some of my friends, I was like, he's gonna win the Heisman. They're like, you're crazy. And everyone's like, did you put that bet down? And I'm like, no, like, I don't bet. But it was just funny because I thought he was gonna be, once he got his shot, that he would be ready for it, just because of the amount of preparation. I mean, I've never seen someone work so hard and have so much like passion, but also bring kind of like this fun energy where there's not a person who doesn't want to be around Mac Jones. Like he's dancing in the locker room, but he's also throwing 60-yard touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's just like I can't say enough good things about him, but he's awesome, and that would definitely encompass all of that. So.
And you get him on the right team, you get him around the right guys, he can certainly thrive. And I think that was very indicative, obviously seeing what Alabama had to work with and all the talent that was surrounding him. But right on the money, his accuracy incredible. And then we look at Alabama's 2 pro days, which I think is interesting because, you know, he's done all he's had to kind of sell himself. The scouts know what they're getting. The NFL teams know what they're getting in Mac Jones. But then he goes out there in these pro days and really had a pretty good performance, right? I mean,
I watched both of them. I thought his performance was great. And it's like, that's what was confusing to me post the second pro day, was like, you know, we're hearing about Justin Fields. I love Justin Fields. I think he's a very impressive quarterback. You know, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, there's all these people tweeting about these plays they're making in pro day, these throws and these passes. And I'm like, where is the Mac Jones love? And like, I even texted him, I said, yo, like, I need that clip of your rollout to the left side. He had I think it was like 55 or 60 yards, but I texted him out, I said, please just get me that clip. Like, I need that clip because I'm gonna post it. It needs to be out there because it might have been the most impressive out of all of the, you know, pro day passes that people were talking about. I mean, he rolls out to that side, he does like a little hitchback, and then he just throws an absolute dime. And it's like, where is this? Why aren't people talking about this? But I guess, you know, he's so consistent and he's been doing it all year long. So, you know, it might not be as special to some people, I guess, since he's done it so much. But he definitely did well in the pro days and ran a pretty speedy 40. And that's one of the things people talk about. They're like, is he fast enough? I'm like, Mac Jones is an athlete. He's winning every single 80-yard run or 110 in conditioning. Like, if people only, you know, saw behind the curtains, like, he's an athlete. Like, trust me, and he can ball out. So
I love the Mac love that we're getting here. But hey, you've been around him and you know the personality, and this is a very humble guy. Everything that he's kind of endured, everything he's gone through, when you look at this 2021 NFL draft, you know, in terms of his skill set, you're comparing to a lot of other quarterbacks. You know, where does he kind of fit in, and what kind of success do you think he could bring to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking other quarterbacks and comparing them to them, it's hard. It's just so hard for me not to be biased.
Of course.
Just because I, you know, like I said, I've worked with him all the time, like in the off season or whatnot. And it's like when you really get to see a guy not only work hard and have the personality he does and lead a team like he does, but make the throws. Like when we're running routes, he's not missing a single throw in a whole entire like throw session or whatever. For me, it's like he would be the #1 quarterback in my eyes. But you know what makes him special is just the ability, like we're talking about, to sit back in the pocket and make the right read. Like when Saban talks about it, Coach Saban says, like, you know, remember there's games he's like, Mac made one bad read the whole game. It's like that's not something that you see. And when you are an NFL coach and you're looking at a guy who is consistently making the right reads and putting the ball in the money every single time, it's like that is an ability to have him on a team that you don't have to worry about him. You're not having to worry about, like, is he doing his job? Like, he's doing his job. He's been in Alabama's system, waited his turn. He's humble. Like, he'll fit in, you know, I think definitely somewhere where they have a good O-line, some, you know, strong skill set of receivers, but you put him in that system, and, I mean, I think that he's just going to do some amazing things in the league.
Download the Milo's mobile app today and receive a free cheeseburger after your first purchase.